Great, happy you can hear me. We'll get started shortly. Sorry for the delay, I'm just sorting out something on my side over here. That didn't work. There we go. Okay, so tell me, can you all see my screen? It says the Amazon Essential, the nuts and bolts of our business. Please say yes in chat box if you can see my screen. Great, okay. Well, looking at the time now, it's just about time to start. And looking at the attendance now, we only have 16 questions. And right now, there's still less than 20 people attending, which is awesome because that means I can finish the questions really fast. And then there'll be some great Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, please ask. So let's go ahead and start. Okay, first of all, just some housekeeping as always. Now, the goal of this webinar is to help you navigate through Amazon Seller Central because it's great if you can sell through Amazon, but it's even a bigger challenge to try and understand Seller Central. It is meant to be easy to use, but more often it is not. And first of all, I am not a guru or a big Amazon earner, but I have been selling for a number of years, and most of the problems you've encountered I've already gone through. So for that, I will give you my best advice possible. And I try to answer as many questions as possible. But if a question is seller specific or category specific, it's best to contact Amazon Seller Support. And on that note, sometimes, actually most of the time, the best advice I can give you is to contact Amazon Seller Support. I know that might not be the right answer, but trust me, if you contact them, you'll get a whole range of answers, and one of them is bound to be right. And also, with regards to sales tax and VAT, I do not know much about them, so I will not be answering any questions about sales tax or VAT. What I know about sales tax and VAT is pretty dangerous, and if you take my advice, you will end up in jail because I don't know anything about that. And the reason I don't is because I spend all my time on the bigger picture trying to grow the business. And I'll happily pay my accountant to worry about it on my behalf. Tina, you asked me over here, why aren't I a big Amazon seller? Well, Tina, I don't look at it like that. I earn enough on Amazon to do it full time and support my family. Whether that's a big Amazon earner or not, I'm not too sure, but the way I look at it, I don't look for numbers. I look and say, can I support my family and can I stay home every day raising my little girl? That's the way I look at it. Okay, now with the questions, right, I'll be covering about 16 questions that were submitted. And if any of your questions relate to that specific topic, please ask it then. Otherwise, please save your questions for the end and I will cover them. So, Diana, I will answer your question about the refunds towards the end. But anyway, let us begin. Okay, Stephen, I saw your question now about the FBA holiday deals. I would love to answer that because that's a very good idea, and I'll answer it for you at the very end. And these questions we have, it's only about 16 questions, so it shouldn't last too long. Maybe about half an hour for those questions, and the rest of the time we can spend through the Q&A. Okay, first question. Now, when you upload a listing, when you create a listing in Seller Central, does Amazon automatically create a flat file? And if so, can you access it? Yes, very true. When you use the web interface to create a product, you use the inventory tab and you go forth adding your title, bullet points, all that stuff. However, that's not how Amazon reads it. Amazon actually takes all that data and dumps it into a huge flat file. It's a huge spreadsheet that has all your data on it already. Now, What I do a lot of the time is that I create the product through the web interface, and then I download the flat file from Amazon. That way, if there are any issues with the product, if there are any issues with the listing, I can simply go look at my flat file that's given to me by Amazon and fix any issues, fix any errors. But now, Amazon don't allow sellers to see this flat file. They will happily give you a blank flat file, but they will not give you a flat file populated with all your information. If you want it, you need to request it. So you need to phone Amazon Seller Central or email them and ask to request access to the category listings report. That is simply a flat file with all your information in spreadsheet format from your products. Now, once you have that report, you can simply copy and paste the entire row or the information and paste it into a flat file. And once you do that, you have a fully functioning flat file with all your product data and information. And when they give you access for normally 7 to 90 days. It depends on who you're speaking to. And you can access it under inventory reports, and then simply from the drop-down box, you click Category Listings Report. Okay, so that's how you access your data. That's how you access a flat file that already has all your information. And if you phone Amazon Seller Central and they don't know what a category listings report is, tell them to transfer you to a feed specialist or a member of the catalog team, and they will know exactly what it is. Okay, question 2. Now, I've actually doctored this to this question. The reason being is that this person wants to add a variation to their product. So they want a parent and child listing. However, they were worried about doing this because their current product has a BSR of below 500, which is pretty awesome. And when you have a product that performs so well, you often don't want to make any changes because you're worried that it can affect your ranking, your criteria, and then you might lose sales. However, if you're going to go ahead and create a variation, it's absolutely fine. And don't worry, it is an easy process as long as you back everything up. And that's quite a big deal. On the previous slide, I discussed with you how to get a category listings report. Now, get that report before you make any changes. And here's the reason why. Because let's say when you add a variation, there's a mistake somewhere and it harms the listing, meaning that for some odd reason, the listing will not load anymore or not display anymore. It definitely does happen from time to time. Very rare, but it can happen. It's happened to me a number of times. So what I do, once I have a category listings report, once I have the backup of my product, then I simply delete the product and re-upload it 24 hours later. The amount of times I delete products from my Seller Central account, pretty much almost every week I delete a new product and then add it back a few days later. The reason being is that some products, when you create the listing, there are issues, there are glitches. So then I completely delete the product completely from my account, and then I re-upload it a week later or a few days later using that data from the category listings report and obviously making changes if they are required. So when you want to add a variation, please go ahead and phone Seller Central and ask to speak to a feed specialist, and they can talk you through the whole process. In a number of the questions that were submitted to me, people did ask me if I can walk them through how to create a parent and child listing, and I won't do that. The reason being is that at the beginning of the whole of Ben's coaching program, I did a thorough webinar about how to make child and parent listings. The problem is that many people tried it and many people failed and ended up harming their listing. So because of that, I don't want to teach it because with every single category, there are different rules and different criteria. I can't cover all of that in one webinar. So your best thing to do is to contact a feed specialist and tell them you want to add a variation. But please make sure this feed specialist knows what they're talking about. If there's any doubt in your mind, hang up and phone back. I often do it. I'm very rude to some of them because some of them are just useless. And this business is my bread and butter, so I don't want a fool messing around with my listings. So if ever I come across a feed specialist that does not know what they're doing, I hang up and phone back. So you're going to phone up Amazon, ask to speak to a feed specialist, and ask them you want to have a variation, and they will walk you through the whole process. It could be quite long. It could be about 45 minutes to an hour. But after that, you will know exactly what to do and how it works, and it'll make your life much easier in the future. Question 3. What are the pros and cons of Amazon brand registry, and is it effective against hijackers? Now, I want to go over the pros and cons. First of all, everyone assumes that brand registry will help you with hijackers, and that is partly true, but only ever so slightly, because when you complain to Amazon, being brand registered adds more weight to your argument. So that means basically that when you complain to Amazon, when you say to them, look at my listing, who's this guy, why is he on there? And you say, I'm brand registered, that does hold more weight, and that does give you a stronger case. Not much, but marginally stronger. And also, with brand registry, once you are registered, only you can edit the listing, and this is huge because there are some really crafty hijackers. They will hijack your listing, change up all your images and your text and all that stuff, and then you can't do a thing about it because some hijacker has done it. So in cases like that, brand registry is a great idea because that way only you can change the listing, no one else. And also, if you are brand registered, there is a report called the Brand Performance Report and the Business Reports. If your brand performs well, that means in terms of sales, reviews, feedback, you do get an extra keyword ranking bonus. However, I have not tested this, but I heard it from many, many sellers. So based on that alone, you should get brand registered. The cons to brand registry is that you need a website to set it up. Not a big deal, but a little bit of a hurdle there. And also, in a very, very, very small percentage of cases, your listing may become locked, meaning you cannot make any changes to the listing through the web interface, and you need to either contact Amazon or use a flat file. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So overall, the pros and cons: get brand registered. It's your best bet. I've been brand registered now for about 2 years. To be honest, it hasn't made any difference. However, it's great when you have it there, and it's one extra box to check. So I do recommend everyone get brand registered. It can't do any harm to you. Question 4. In last month's Q&A, I was talking to you about how I apply for gated categories. And often, I get denied anywhere between 5 and 10 times. Now, when I apply, and I get denied, they normally do give you a reason, but it's pretty much a horrible reason because they just copy and paste and give you a canned response. There is some truth to their reason, and their reason does kind of give you a hint to what they mean, but overall, their reasons are pretty poor. And another thing is that often when I'm rejected or denied, I immediately change up my application and apply again in the space of 10 minutes to an hour. You can reply back and apply again as many times as you wish, and it doesn't matter what the time frame is. It's absolutely fine. I know one of my products, one of the categories, I think it was on Amazon UK, I was denied access about 15 times, and I applied pretty much almost every single hour for a couple of days. And not once did any Amazon worker ever query and ask me, why am I applying so many times? So there's no harm in applying as many as times, and the time period does not matter at all. Question 4. This is quite a good question, is that you will see that Amazon will often judge sellers based on their metrics. That's such as the pre-order fulfillment rate, the feedback, the reviews, all that stuff. However, there is a refund statistic, but there's no target refund amount, meaning Amazon never tell you what is the target refund rate. And most importantly, if you are selling through FBA, the refund rate is not a major concern. It really isn't. Amazon don't mind too much if you have a high refund rate because you're selling through FBA and customers can be fussy. But make sure your refund rate is not too high, as it will affect your seller rating in the long run. And Amazon don't tell you what too high a rating is. You don't actually know. But in my personal experience, anything over a 10% refund rate is not good, and Amazon will complain about that. But overall, don't worry too much. If your products do not have a high refund rate, then you're absolutely fine. Question 6. Now, this is also another good question. This seller is saying is that their product gets a lot of refunds, and the customers always mark it as defective or not as described. The product is quite personal and doesn't apply for everyone. However, if this seller offered great customer service and contacted the customer before they did a refund and then refunded the product on their behalf, would this be a better idea? And yes, you are 100% correct. It's better for you to do a refund than for the customer to do a refund. At the end of the day, it's the same thing really, but the reason is different. For example, if a customer does a refund, they can say they want a refund because they found this to be counterfeit or defective or anything like that. And if you get those counterfeit remarks against your seller name, that's not a good idea. So you always want to offer great customer service that will intercept 90% of customer complaints and issues. So in your first email, say to them, after it's always been shipped, say to them, we offer a 100% no questions asked guarantee. Tell them that in the first email. So if there's any doubt in their mind about the product and they want a refund, they can just contact you. And what's nice is you'll be intercepting them before they do the refund, and that will help you in the long run. That's why customer service is ideal in this business. Okay, question 7. Okay, first of all, I must say this. If you have not done it already, make sure you choose the option of repackage unsellable customer returns is disabled in your Amazon Seller Central account. What that means is often a customer will return a product and then Amazon will repackage and sell it for you on your listing. The problem is customers will then receive a faulty product and they are very quick to complain. And for this very reason, Amazon have actually shut down a few accounts and a few products because there were so many complaints, even though it was caused by Amazon repackaging these products. So make sure you turn off that option in Amazon Seller Central. And also, Amazon is continually trying to improve FBA, and this option was one of their newest attempts and not their best. And the thing is, Amazon just makes these changes and they don't actually give you a heads up. So please pay attention to the headlines in your Seller Central account. The headlines is basically the news feed from Amazon telling you about changes to Amazon Seller Central and the program. So make sure to pay attention to those headlines so you will know of any updates and changes like this. Because if you don't stay up to date, things like this can lead to your account being harmed and damaged, and Amazon will eventually then shut down the account, even though it's pretty much their fault. Okay, moving on now. Question 8. This seller here has asked me to talk them through their payment summary and how it works. Now, I've used a screenshot from one of my Amazon accounts, and it's one of my test accounts, which is why the amount's so low. But I use the account to basically test things out and play around and pretty much push the boundaries and see what I can get away with. Okay, now, first of all, on the Amazon Seller Central homepage, you click on that balance figure, and it'll take you to a new screen. However, all the orders that show up in the next screen will only appear after they've been shipped. So if you've been doing promotions or you've been looking at your organic sales, you can only see them appear here after they've shipped. So you won't know if a sale is organic or if it's promotional until it's been shipped, and this is where you find it out. So you click on that and it takes you to this next screen over here. First of all, product charges. This is your selling price. So if you sell for $19.99, it will be your product charges. And if you sell 5 units, it will come up as 99.95, meaning it's your full product charges. Promo rebates. This is the amount of discount you've given. So for example, if you're doing a $1 giveaway and your selling price is $19.99, then the promo rebate will be $18.99. The next one is Amazon fees. There's a mixture of Amazon commission and the FBA fee. Now, the Amazon commission, Amazon charges you normally about 17 to 20% commission per product on your selling price, and it varies according to your category. And the FBA fee is simply the FBA fulfillment costs, how much it costs Amazon to send out that product for you. That's what it costs. And then moving on to the other, that's all the shipping costs, and Amazon reimburses this to you as it is FBA. The next one is product charges. Now, I normally leave these out because they are quite small, but that's pretty much product charges. For example, applying the F and SKU label, that's pretty much all it is. And they're pretty small, so I don't even worry about these amounts over here. Now, subscription fees and FBA fees. That is your Amazon Seller Essential subscription fee, your monthly fee, and the FBA fee is your FBA storage fee. And pretty much that's about it. And these are all the amounts that you need to worry about for your 2-week period. David, you asked a question about the previous slide. You said, can we just send out a new product but entering in a fulfillment order instead of processing a refund? Absolutely, David. And I do that more often than not. I always say to them, how about I will send you another product free of charge instead of doing a refund. Very good idea. I always try to send them a new product, but if they're really unhappy, I give them a refund and maybe try to give them a little gift voucher. Okay, question 9. Now, this seller asked quite a good question. They said that in their strategy, promoting a product that costs either $25 or $10 is pretty much the same amount of work in terms of promotions, because we all spend a lot of time promoting our products. And with the goods cost $25 or $10, it's still the same amount of work. So the only disadvantage they see are higher launch costs for inventory and the higher discounted promotions. Now, first of all, you are 100% correct. Once you learn how to promote your products, it can be applied to your entire product range, and that's massive. Because if you know how to use Facebook ads, AdWords, YouTube, all that stuff that Ben teaches, if you can do that, you can promote any product and sell out on almost any product. The only problem then will come up is your inventory costs. The higher the selling price, the higher the product costs. For example, I have two items. One costs $50 selling price, and the other one costs $20 selling price. The one that costs $20, I am very happy to do refunds and send out products to clients. However, at the $50 mark, I'm very scared to do that because that is quite expensive and can really eat into your profit margins. However, what people don't understand is that the higher the cost of the item, the less the competition. Most people are too scared to sell expensive goods because they know it will be very expensive to set it up. So if you find there's too much competition in your niche, consider maybe trying a different niche that's much more expensive, because then there will be less competition. Marcel, I saw your question. Now please ask me again at the end. Question 10. This seller has placed an order of 100 items for children's toys, and they are not large or big, but the quotes they got back are pretty ridiculous. Over $3,000 and almost, or practically $2,000 is the charge they received for shipping via air. And in my opinion, that sounds ridiculously high. It really, really does. When you ship by air, the most important factor is the weight. Unless your product is abnormally large or huge or just a very weird shape, weight is the biggest factor in your shipments. And a good shipping quote is anywhere between $5 to $7 per kilogram. So for example, let's say your products weigh 50 kilograms. If it weighs 50 kilograms, there will be anywhere between $250 to $350 for the shipping. And you should be able to get a rate between $5 and $7. It pretty much depends on your freight forwarder and your supplier, but that's what you should aim for. Because if you can get your shipping down to that amount, it makes your life much, much easier. Okay, next question. Question 11. When this seller contacted a Chinese supplier about a very high shipping quote, they replied saying, "Too bad, if I ever wanted to meet their price again, to call them back." What suggestions do I have for these responses? Unfortunately, you might not want to hear this, but the best advice is to move on. Please bear in mind that Alibaba suppliers, they get inundated with requests from people like us. So they often don't waste their time and will just tell you as it is. That's absolutely fine, because as much as queries they get, there are that many suppliers on Alibaba. So we can be fussy as well. So if they're fussy towards their clients, we can be fussy about our suppliers. So if they give you grief, just stop, move on immediately. And also, if the product is great, maybe the supply is great, but maybe their shipping quote is just too high. If that's the case, hire a freight forwarder and they can do it for you. I know, I think about 6-7 months ago, I could be wrong there, Ben did a whole webinar on freight forwarders, and he actually recommended one. I don't have the link right now, but please look at past webinars and you will find it there. Question 12. Okay, now, this person has a parent-child variation with 3 variations, and they want to remove one of the variations and give it its own listing. First of all, contact seller support and ask to speak to a feed specialist. They will walk you through it and remove the child. Easy enough. However, please bear in mind, once you separate a child from its parents, it will lose its reviews and keyword ranking, and that's pretty important. Generally speaking, in 90% of the cases, when you have a parent and child listing, the best-selling variation is always the most dominant. So for example, when you have a whole host of children, The child that sells the best, your keyword ranking is dependent on that child. So make sure if you're going to separate a child from its parents, you're not taking out the best-selling variation, because then you're actually harming the entire listing. And also, when you remove a parent, when you remove a child from its parents, you lose all its reviews and keyword rankings. So please make sure when you do it, you're sure of it. And also, this goes back to what I was saying in the first slide. Make sure you get the category listings report. So if there are any issues, and let's say you decide this is a bad idea, you can simply re-upload the variation into the parent as it once was. Question 13. Okay. Now, when you use the Amazon email system, can you offer coupon codes and products to your previous customers? Okay, now, there is no solid answer about this. I have asked the support, I've asked them, I said to them, can I email previous customers and give them a coupon code and say, thank you for being a great customer, here's a huge discount? And I've received a number of answers and pretty much not a single concrete answer that says yes or no. But I've tested it out. And this is what I do. What I do is that if I'm selling products that are similar to one another or in the same niche, I will then go email some previous customers that purchased a similar product from me. And what I do is I email them saying to them that we have a coupon code and a big sale for all of our loyal customers. And if they would like a huge discount, then please email me back and I will give them the details. I do this for a reason. Because if Amazon does not allow me or does not like me sending out coupon codes, I can simply say, well, hey, the customer requested it. I am offering 5-star service. And with that reason, you should be fine. You really should be. However, don't abuse the system. Remember, Amazon does not like people using the email system for promotional purposes. So you must stay under the radar. And normally I send about 5 to 10 emails per day to previous customers about this. Maybe that number is too low, maybe it's too high. But I do that 5 to 10 per day, and I haven't received any problems with Amazon. And I think it'll only become an issue if you're doing anywhere between 50 to 60 to 70 emails per day offering promotional discounts. So try stay under the radar. Okay, question 14. Now, this person has a fully optimized listing with over 60 5-star reviews, and they've just started Amazon ads. And their question is 2 parts. The first part is they're not getting any bids on their keywords. They're not getting any impressions on their keywords. And the second thing is new competitors are simply launching their products and they are way above them in the keyword ranking. How is that possible? Okay, so let's break it down now. In terms of Amazon ads, it's pretty much dependent on your listing and how relevant your listing is for those keywords. So for example, if you're selling a spatula, you won't appear for the keyword fork because it's not relevant. So make sure that your listing is as relevant for those keywords as possible, and make sure those keywords appear in your title. That's very important. And also, if you want to make sure you appear for keywords, try to get your customers to buy your product by searching for it through those keywords. That's a very good tactic that should trigger your Amazon ads, and then you should be there. But with Amazon ads, it's all about testing. It really is. If you find that you are not getting any impressions, then make a huge bid and see if that makes a difference. But with Amazon ads, you have to do a lot of testing to see what works for you and what doesn't work. Now, in terms of your competitors, often, I know it's annoying, a new competitor will launch their product and they'll be on page 1 or 2 as they launch. So frustrating. It really, really is, because we work hard to get to page 1, 2, and they simply they simply make a listing and they're there. Now, this could be because maybe this product is brand registered and it's part of a bigger brand. And if the whole brand performs well, then when you add a product to it, will also perform well according to Amazon. So that could be the reason. Or maybe this seller, their rating is very, very high, and the history could play a factor. Amazon actually favors sellers that have a good selling history. So that could be the issue. Or maybe, by pure dumb luck, this competitor has made a listing that's much more compliant with the style guide. And in some cases, the more compliant you are with the style guide, the better your keyword ranking will be. Or maybe you just may have, this product may have tons of external traffic going to it. What people don't understand is that a lot of these products already have fully fledged, high-functioning websites. And now the website is now pushing all the traffic from the website to the Amazon listing. So that could be a very high influx of traffic. And with that, it might mean that Amazon likes this product and gives them a very good keyword ranking. And ultimately, only Amazon knows. There could be many, many, many reasons why these products perform so well. But at the end of the day, it's down to Amazon, and only they know the real reasons. Okay, David, you asked over here. Um, does the case, uppercase or lowercase, matter when entering keywords into a manual targeting ad campaign? No, it does not. So you can have capital letters, uppercase, lowercase. You can have every alternate letter being uppercase, lowercase. It does not make a difference. The capitalization will not affect your keyword ranking, so it will not affect your manual ads at all. Okay, question 15. Now, this question I was a bit confused about, but I've answered it the best I could. This person's asked, when they ship products to Amazon warehouse, the carrier needs to make a delivery appointment in advance. And the Amazon partner carriers will take this by default and they will make the appointment. But when shipping by air express from China directly to Amazon, would the courier company make the appointments with the warehouse? Now, this, I want to break it down in terms of you only need to make an appointment with the FBA warehouse if you are sending a pallet. If you're sending a pallet, then you need to make an appointment with FBA, and they'll give you a time slot for when the pallet can be delivered. Otherwise, if you're just sending through normal boxes, you don't need to create an appointment. You simply create the UPS shipping labels. And I create my labels actually weeks in advance. Because what I do is that I create the labels and I send them to my suppliers in China, and they then affix the labels onto the products. The products then get shipped over here by sea, which could take about 6 weeks in the at least. So in that case, you don't need to create an appointment to send in boxes, but you do for a pallet. And another case, please be careful about shipping directly to FBA from China. That's quite a big deal, because often when you ship internationally direct to FBA, the courier will arrive at the Amazon warehouse and expect them to pay for some of the costs, such as customs, taxes, and all that stuff. So if you are going to ship to FBA directly, make sure you've covered all those fees in advance and your courier is aware of the situation. Because if they ask Amazon to make payments, Amazon will just reject your delivery. And that can be quite a big problem. So please make sure everything is done in advance and make sure your courier knows what the issue is. Mark asked your question now. I will happily answer that at the end of this webinar. And I think we have one more question. Let's check. Yes, this is the last question. Okay, now this pops up quite a bit. The problem here is that this seller has found out that their conversion rate has dropped significantly with the new Amazon product listings layout. What can they do to improve it? And is there any way you can revert to the old layout? Okay, first of all, Amazon is constantly running split tests. And I'm sure you'll see a lot of times when you love Amazon, there will be slight changes. For example, the new one is now Amazon sponsored ads can appear on the top of the page. As well as you may now see the add to cart button appear on the search listings instead of actually going into the page. And Amazon are doing this because they're always split testing to see where's the best layout, where's the best way to sell to the customers. And unfortunately, even if your product has a lower conversion rate, if you try to ask Seller Central to change it back for you, they will have no idea what to do. Don't even bother. We're at the mercy of Amazon, and if they want to change the entire layout of their website, they can and they will, and they don't care what you think. So pretty much you're stuck with it. There's not much more we can do. However, if you find your conversion rate is dropping, there are some things you must do. First of all, a lot of people don't do this, and it's crucial. View your listing on a mobile device. You must do that. Look at your listing on an iPhone, on an Android phone, on an iPad, on a Kindle. Look at it on as many mobile devices as possible, because 40% of Amazon sales are done on a mobile device. So that means if your listing is optimized for a computer, it may not be optimized for a mobile device, and you could be losing out on a ton of sales. For example, the product description. People love putting in these great bullet points and this bold text, and it looks very impressive and it looks great. However, if you view that product listing on a mobile device, it looks horrible because the product description can't be picked up by a phone and does not look worthwhile. So please make sure, look at as a starting point, look at your listing from a mobile device, make the changes, and then see what happens. And fortunately, if your conversion rate is dropping, you need to make some changes. Test. I mean, I test my stuff all the day. So all the time, I'm trying to change things back and see what I can do to improve everything. And what you must do is make one change at a time. First of all, start off with the images. Change your images one at a time. Change one and see if it improves your conversion rate. If not, revert back. If it does, keep it as is. You start with the images, then you go to the title, then you go to the bullet points, and then you go to the product description. And trust me, if you make one little tweak on each of those 4 areas, you will have a very high-performing product listing afterwards. Because a lot of people don't actually do this. They don't try and make the listing look as good as possible. They don't try and make conversion rates improve. So often what happens is they just create the listing and move on. However, if you constantly update your listing and try to get up to that really good conversion rate, it can help you. For example, my products, I normally spend about anywhere from 5 to 8 weeks tinkering with the listing, trying to make it convert as good as possible. And yeah, it's a pain and a lot of work, but at the end of the 6 weeks, I have a product that converts at least 15%. And when you have a listing converting at least 15%, you can then just walk away. And all you do then is send in new stock, because you'll be getting a high number of organic sales, and therefore it's good, you're good to go. Okay, and that is about it. There weren't very many questions. So now I'm happy to do Q&A. So please bombard me with questions. Please put all your questions in the chat box, and I'll do my best to go through them one by one. And the first question is from Marcel. Marcel says his title is locked. Unfortunately, Marcel, that does happen. When your title is locked, what it means is you can't make any changes to it through the web interface. What you need to do is phone up Amazon and ask them to make the changes for you. Otherwise, you could use a flat file, but for ease of reference, just phone Amazon and they'll make the changes for you. Okay, Diana, you've asked over here, is there a way we can create a listing and keep it under construction so we can view the listing on different devices before it goes active? Yes, you can. You absolutely can. What you're going to do is you're going to deactivate the listing. You simply, what's that field called now in the inventory tab? I forget what it's called now, but you don't delete it. You simply deactivate it, which means it cannot be found in Amazon search. However, if you have the ASIN, you can put the ASIN into the search box, and then it will come up. So you are excluded from Amazon search, but if someone searches for your ASIN, they can find your product. So what I do is that before my listing is active, before it's live, I take the ASIN and I put it into my mobile device, I put it into my computer and everything to view it on all the different devices and see what looks best. Okay, David, your question is, you have decided not to use the super URLs to drive traffic to the Amazon listing. Do I believe using the canonical URL to send traffic is within the updated Amazon terms of service? Yes, I do. I really do. The super URL, there's a big debate about this, is how effective really was it? And unfortunately, there are so many metrics, there are so many things to test on Amazon. We don't know how effective it really was. People will tell you it worked for them, some will tell you it didn't. It's pretty much down to yourself and your own testing. And if you use the canonical URL, I think that's a great idea, and I think that's 100% compliant with Amazon terms of service. Okay, David, you asked over here, would multiple manual target ad campaigns with the same keywords be counterproductive? And would Amazon dig the campaigns, or is it worth testing? Okay, David, as always, I'm going to say it. It's probably the worst answer. It is worth testing. And here's the thing, right, is that on one of my products, I have a very good, its best keyword performs really well. So what I've done then is I've created 5 manual campaigns, all consisting of that same keyword. Here's the reason why. Because when one campaign finishes, the next one will take its place. However, I end up then bidding against myself, which could raise the cost per click. And the reason I do this is because it resulted in more sales. However, I did it to other products, and I had multiple campaigns all with the same keyword. And actually, I didn't do any good, and I ended up wasting a lot of money. So you must test. You definitely must test it and see what works best for you. Amazon ads is all about testing. It really is. Okay, Jay, you asked over here. You lost about 27 good reviews related to the parent ASIN since the parent ASIN has changed. Do I know how we can get those reviews back? Unfortunately, you can only get them back if you've taken screenshots and have actually recorded all those reviews. Personally, I don't record my reviews. I really should. But if you do, then you can easily go back to Amazon and complain to them and say to them, look, I've lost my reviews and here is the proof. Personally, I haven't done that, but a few of my colleagues have, and they've managed to get all their reviews reinstated. However, it may not work, so it's best to see what can be done. But unfortunately, reviews, you will lose them. It's part of the business. Patty asked me, do I use a freight forwarder to ship to Amazon? Yes, I do. What I do basically is that when I'm going from China to FBA, And my very first order from the my very first order from the supplier, I get that shipped to an inspection warehouse in the US, just inspect it and then send it on to FBA warehouse. But on the second order from the supplier, now that they know the routine and I can trust them, I have that sent directly from China to the FBA warehouse. However, my freight forwarder is very experienced with Amazon and he knows the repercussions and he knows the whole loops and everything. So he then, when he's transporting the boxes or from China, normally at the airport, he will then affix the UPS labels and then go from there straight to the FBA warehouse. Okay, Christine, you asked me over here. Have I covered the new match types for advanced keyword targeting and or the optimized campaigns with negative keywords? I haven't. And the reason I haven't covered those new tactics yet for Amazon ads. And the reason being is that I can't give any advice yet because I've not thoroughly tested it. I love to test things, but I need more data. And by the next call, I should have a lot more data and I can give you a very good opinion. But for now, best thing to do, just go ahead and test everything. It's the best thing you can do. Because trust me, the great thing about testing is that the more you test, the more you understand the market. Okay, Marcel, you asked over here, how should you give a refund? Via PayPal? Personally, I wouldn't do that because customers are lazy and then they're not going to want to send you the PayPal address. For example, if you tell a customer, I will refund you through PayPal, great idea. But how do you get their PayPal address? Their PayPal email address? Because the Amazon email system strips any email addresses out of the email system. So you probably won't be able to get them the refund via PayPal. And also, customers won't like to be refunded via PayPal. They will prefer to be refunded by Amazon by the way they made the payment. So your best bet is just give them the refund, do the refund through the back end to Amazon, and you should be fine. Okay, David, you asked over here, how accurate is the estimated page one bid when entering a manual targeting ad campaign? David, I found it pretty inaccurate. I did. However, I noticed that with each category, there are bigger inaccuracies. So in some categories, I found it pretty exact, and others, I didn't. But pretty much, it's all about testing. Okay, Deborah, you asked me, are you still using videos on Amazon Picture Slot, or are you only using videos on Facebook, etc.? Pretty much, I'm only using videos on Facebook for now. I think it's much easier to because I know Facebook right now, they are trying to make a move on YouTube, so they want as many advertisers sending in their videos as possible. Okay, Patty, you asked, where do you find the area in Amazon to disable them selling returned items? That can be found in your settings in Amazon Search Central. I'm not sure on the exact spot because I changed mine a month or two ago. But if you are confused, just search for it in the in the Rapid Crush ASM Masters Facebook group. There have been a number of posts there about it. Okay, Jason, you asked over here. Your supplier won't ship via Air Express. I think they're afraid of it. They insist on FOB. Isn't it better to just have them FOB to the nearest port and then use a freight forwarder from there or try to get them to ship air freight to the US airport and then use a freight forwarder from there? Okay, Jason, what I do is that I am incredibly lazy. I really do mean that. If I can pay someone to do something for me, I will. So often what I do is that I don't even ask my suppliers for their shipping quotes. I ask them purely for the FOB quotes because I have quite a good freight forwarder which I can trust and can do it for me. And that's what you need as well. You need a freight forwarder that can handle for you your entire shipping and customs and taxes and all that stuff, so you don't have to worry about it. Yes, that is an extra expense, but at the end of the day, what's more expensive? Wasting time on shipping or saving that time and growing your business? So definitely, I do recommend get the FOB costs to the airport and then get a freight forwarder and they can do it all for you. Okay, now, Stefan, good question. Amazon sends me notifications about an open listings report that is available to view. The listings don't make much sense for me. I don't remember that I have requested them. Do you know what it is and how I can stop them? Yes. Now, in my opinion, or sorry, in my experience, an open listing report is triggered by Feedback Genius or any other email tool. I don't know why, to be honest, and it's nothing to worry about at all. But if it bothers you, just Google Feedback Genius Open Listings Report. Feedback Genius Open Listings Report, because in the Feedback Genius blog or their Q&A, they tell you how to turn it off. Because I had it as well, and I turned mine off, but I did it over a year ago, so I'm not quite sure how to do it again. But just Google Feedback Genius Open Listings Report, and you'll see an answer for that. Okay, Jay, you said, for a parent-child listing, do you recommend we put different keywords for each child listing in those search terms? Yes, I do. Pretty much. What I do is that I try to put in as many keywords as possible for all my variations, and I see if it works. In some cases it has, in some cases it hasn't. Pretty much, I try to use as many keywords as possible. And at the end of the day, personally, I have found that search terms are not as powerful as you want them to be. The main thing for me I found is title. Title probably has the most keyword ranking than search terms. However, I like to make my net as wide as possible so that way I can get as much keyword data as possible. Okay, Tim, you've asked over here, regarding URLs, which is better, to drive external traffic to your Amazon listing, which is the canonical or the search URL that you can copy from your browser's address bar? Okay, if you are doing external traffic, first of all, external traffic, make sure is coming from either YouTube, Google, or Facebook. That's important because those are three very big authoritative sites. And if you are getting direct traffic from one of those three sites, it should not harm your conversion rate. I mean, your conversion rate may be less, but that's good quality traffic in terms of Amazon's eyes. So they like that, and you should not be punished because of that. So you should receive even more keyword boost because of that. However, using those three things, I would pretty much use the canonical URL. I would not use the search URL. The reason being is that if traffic comes in from external source, and if it's proper organic traffic, that's paid traffic, then it should be the canonical URL because that user will not have the search URL. So pretty much I recommend use the canonical. Okay, Richard, your question is, you would like to know exactly what happens when you combine a listing on Amazon UK and Amazon.com. For instance, will the reviews from the UK still appear on the UK site? Sorry, will the reviews from the UK site appear on the US site and vice versa? Okay, this is a pain. It really is because I sell in both the US and the UK. And the pain is this. If you create a product in the US and then you launch it later in the UK, all your US reviews will show up on your UK listings, but not the full reviews, just a little shortcut bar at the bottom that will tell you this product is also on Amazon.com and here are the reviews. However, the same would not be said in reverse. So your US reviews will show up on your UK product, but not the other way around. Your UK product will not show up on the US. And when you list your UK product, make sure you use the exact same UPC code, and then Amazon can match the two products. And even saying that, there have been a few issues. So if you have any problems with that, please ask Amazon and they will walk you through it. Okay, David, I'll read your question out here. We have had a huge number of views of our listing, even though it was on a high page number, meaning no one should have organically found the listing. This has a major negative impact on our conversion rate. Would me and my partner looking at our listing multiple times a day cause this high views? Should we stop looking every day? We use Snapshot, which I also suspect caused a high number of views. Unfortunately, okay, two things first of all. When you use review clubs, just check. I haven't used Snapshot for a while now, so I'm not particularly sure how it works. But a lot of these review clubs give the person the option to view the Amazon page before making the purchase for $1 or giveaway. And that annoys me because you're giving them the product for $1. Why are they so damn fussy? It really does annoy me. I mean, it's a good quality product. Why are you fussy? You should be thankful. But anyway, when that happens, often these review clubs can be more harmful because they're sending all this traffic which has a very high bounce rate. So they will view your page a lot, but not enough to make enough sales to give you a good conversion rate. And also, if you view your page, it is no big deal. It really isn't. But make sure you view your page by accessing your Amazon Seller Central account through the inventory page and clicking on it that way. Do not search for your product and then look for it and open it. Only open it through your Amazon Seller Central account. But by doing that, you should be fine. Okay, Stephen, you've asked here, what are your thoughts on FBA holiday lightning deals? Do you participate at the maximum level of up to 4 offers? And will you please give me insights from experience with the program? Okay, pretty much, Stephen, go for it. This year, I was only given access they only requested 1 product, but I'm going to submit all 4. I'm going to submit 4 products because I can, and it won't do any harm. I've heard from some people that they've also only been asked for 1 product, but they give 4 products, and they manage to get 2 or 3. But cases like that are extremely rare, so please make sure you have enough inventory to cover that. Because here's the big thing. Last year, when people participated in the Lightning Deal, what they didn't realize was that it was going to wipe out their entire inventory for the Christmas time. And that's quite a big deal because, first of all, you're offering your stock at a discount, so the profit margin is less, and now you're just being wiped out. Yes, it's great for cash flow, but please be careful. It might be a bigger problem because you may then be out of stock for the whole Christmas period, and you want to be in stock there. So go ahead and apply. Just please watch your inventory levels. Okay, Joe, I'm reading your question. Okay, Joe, I'm going to read your question out loud. You have a comment from a verified purchaser. I'm assuming you mean a review. He did not get the operating instructions that came in the first email. Both Amazon support and I have searched all the orders and can't find his name. I can't find any way to contact him except by replying to his comments. Support suggested I reply to his comments and ask him to pull up his order and use contact the vendor to send me a request. I can't find this field. Any idea where it is? Okay, so first of all, a few things is that often you will come across this is that you will get a negative review and you can't do anything about it because the customer is using an alias, which is quite a pain because you've no way to check his order. Your best bet then, as the support said, comment on his review. Comment on it there and make it a big long comment saying, hey, you try to answer their question, but you can't find their order details. And then ask them to contact you, and you do this by saying to you, by giving them the link to your store name. So when you click on sold by on your Amazon listing page, it opens up your store. Send that link because in that link over there, in that page over there, it says contact the seller. Contact the seller. He can then contact you that way and then give you the order number. Jason, I just saw your comment. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Happy to be of help. And Patty, you asked me over here, can I provide the name of my freight forwarder? I cannot, Patty. And here's the reason is that a freight forwarder and a service is great until it gets used by everyone. And that's why, unfortunately, I've been doing this now for about 2-3 years, and I've built up a good number of assets. And for that reason, I don't like sharing them. But the thing is, though, is that I went through about 5-6 different freight forwarders. And please bear in mind, Patty, my freight forwarders are great, but they are based in Europe. But they help me out across the whole of the US and Europe. So for that reason, they may not be a good fit for you. That's why I recommend it's best to find a freight forwarder and talk to them about the process. And please contact as many as you can. There are many freight forwarders, and contact one that you know will hold your hand and walk you through the process. Because often when I phone freight forwarders, I come across as an idiot. Because if they think I'm clueless, they will do more for me. And I pretty much act stupid a lot of the time because the more stupid I act, the more they're going to do for me. And the less they will assume of my knowledge, which can actually be a huge help in advance. Okay, Christine, I'm going to read your question out loud because it's a very good question. Is there any parent-child variation training from either yourself or Ben? I was following Still Essentials training, but then saw there wasn't an option for the type of variation I wanted to add. Once I called Amazon to make sure I was setting up the flat file right, the customer service rep then told me that I cannot add the variation the way I want. Yet I see that one of our competitors has the variations on their listing, and I'm wondering if there's still a way to do it. I'm simply trying to add an alternative from purchasing from our bundled product for my customers to be able to purchase the product or its variation separately. Amazon is saying that they have to be separate listings since one is shampoo and the other is another product. But it's being sold as a combo and we simply want to offer it. Okay, great. Okay, absolutely right. I skipped the last part there, but basically what you want to do is that you have a bundled product and now you want to make a variation where it's no longer bundled but now sold in individual units. And pretty much Amazon is right. You're not allowed to do that. You really, really are not. Well, when I say not allowed, what I mean is Amazon will tell you that can't be done, but it really can be done. The thing is that the variation you want may not be there, but then use the variation that's already there. For example, I've used variation color where it's actually the variation is a different size. Because sometimes the variation codes they give you don't match up to what you want. And if that's the case, then try experiment. Try experiment with a different variation and see what works and what doesn't work. And this will require a whole range of testing. And it's pretty weird because the only way to know if you're right or wrong is to test it out. And unfortunately, that could harm your listing. So make sure you have the category listings report beforehand so you have your product backed up in case there are any issues. But it can be done, I can tell you that. But try change the variation type. It does not have to be the variation that you do. For example, in this case, you could offer size or color and it may still work. You just got to test out and see. Okay, Joe, good question here. I must have been confused. Today you were talking to the FBA group. I'm assuming that's a Facebook group. I'm assuming that. And he mentioned that you don't have a badge yet and you should get one. What is a vendor badge? Joe, to be honest, I'm not sure. I have no idea what a vendor badge is. What a vendor badge is. Vendor badge. There we go. And pretty much, Joe, if I or myself or many other people have not heard about it, it may not be that important. I could be completely wrong here, but I've never heard about it, so I don't think it's that big a deal. Maybe it's something new. I'm not too sure. Okay, Mark, you asked me, what are the 3 sites for external sources? Okay, pretty much. This is how I remember it, is that I watched a talk a while ago about the 4 horsemen of the internet. Now, the 4 horsemen of apocalypse, same thing, but the 4 horsemen of the internet. And they are Google, Amazon, Facebook, and YouTube. So when you advertise on Google, YouTube, or Facebook, then you can do a direct linking to your Amazon product. But please bear in mind, please test this out because in some cases, I found it really helped a listing. In other cases, it actually made it worse. So you must test it out. Okay, Patsy, you asked, where do you find your canonical URL and do I use a URL shortener? Okay, first of all, your canonical URL, that can be found simply by right-clicking on your page and then you view the page source. And you'll see a whole bunch of weird, wonderful text. Then you press Control F as it's a find function, and you type in canonical, and it will bring you to a little area that gives you the full canonical URL. So, I say that again. You right-click on your listing on Amazon, and you say View Page Source. You then say Control F, and you type in canonical, as in canonical URL, and it will bring up then your canonical URL. And do I use a URL shortener? No, I don't. I've never needed to, and a lot of the times you can hide the URL using HTML, so it's not a big deal. Ah, Joe, you're the man. Thank you. Joe said, the repackage unsellable customer returns is on settings, fulfillment by Amazon, and it is called the repackage setting. Thank you, Joe. Good man. So I'll say that again. The repackage unsellable customer returns is on the settings page under fulfillment by Amazon, and it's called repackaging setting, and please disable it. Stephen, you said here, is Amazon strict with limiting the offer to what I've stated, such as 100 units? Stephen, no. Amazon should be fine with it. They should be absolutely fine, and you shouldn't worry too much about that. Okay, Richard, you asked over here. Is it always the best option to select the combine listings option, or should you also consider the other options? I think one of them was to create a completely new listing. What are the drawbacks of creating a combination of listing? For example, how does it affect the price and other details? Okay, now, Richard, with that, um, you know, I would like to give you a more concrete answer. I really would. The problem is, it's different for every category. It really is. So unfortunately, I have to resort back to my normal thing, just test it out and play around. Pretty much, I became really good at using Amazon Seller Support because I pretty much tested everything, and you can really learn a bunch of cool things by doing that. So please, unfortunately, I can't give you a better answer, but test it out and see what happens. Stefan, you asked over here, did you say it's possible to give Amazon more products for the Lightning deal than the number of products Amazon says qualifies for the deal? Stefan, yes, absolutely, you can do that. The maximum, I think, is 4 products you can add. Normally, what I do is that I reply back with the qualifying item, and then I try to sneak in 3 more with that. It doesn't always work, but in some cases it has. Okay, Mark, you asked over here, is it best to find a freight forwarder in China, US, or Europe? If I'm based in if I'm based in Europe and only saying the US at the moment, moving to Europe later. Okay, Mark, good question. It really is. It's a tough one because I'm not sure how far away you are from doing the UK, but it's nice if you have one freight forwarder that can do the whole thing. But overall, what I would do for now to make things easier, get a freight forwarder that works in the US, and then check that they have international services. So if you tell them that you eventually will be selling across the EU as well, and can they help with that? And that should be a good way in. Okay, Christina Matthew, you asked over here, can you explain how to back up the listing relating to setting up variations? Okay, when you back up the listing, I think you may have missed this part as my first slide. When you do it, make sure you first get access to your category listings report. They is simply a flat file, a text document with all your information already in spreadsheet format. So that way you can copy and paste the information into a new flat file, and there you have it. So before you make any changes, make sure you download the category listings report, and then you have a backup of your entire listing. So that way, if there's any issues with the new listing, you can easily revert to the old one by uploading the old listing. Jay, you asked over here, is the ASM ranker still safe to use after the Amazon TOS update? Does it still help to increase the keyword ranking? Okay, first of all, I still use super URLs. Personally, I still do, but I use them under the radar. So I'm not giving away 500 products through a super URL. I give out maybe 5 to 10 a day using the super URL. And even then, maybe then I'm pushing the boundary. I'm not sure. It's all about testing. And then, does it still help to increase the keyword ranking? In my experience, yes, it does, but in others, it's not. And like I say, I have a whole host of products, and some of them, the same strategies work well, and others doesn't. It's all about seeing what works well for that specific niche. Jay asked, is there a way we can apply for the Lightning deal, or is it invite only on what conditions? Pretty much it's invite only. If you did not get the email already, then unfortunately you were not invited. Don't feel bad though, because I only got invited first time last year, so it's no big deal. Oh, Mark, good man. Okay, Mark, let me copy this. Mark has actually given us screenshots for the how to disable the repackage and disable customer returns. I will paste that into the chat box now. Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate that. Okay, it looks like the questions have dried up. I'll be on for another 5 more minutes, so if you have any more questions, please shoot them in now, and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, then it looks like all the questions have stopped, as I'm not seeing any new questions. Last call. Any new questions, please put in the chat box, or else we'll be ending the webinar. David, you are more than welcome. Okay, great. Let's stop there. Everyone, I wanted to thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, and I really do look forward to these webinars. And like I said, any more questions, please put them back in the poll for next month. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you, everyone. I love having you on board. Really do appreciate it. Have a great day.